My wife cheated. My daughter defended her, and I was called a failure. So I ended it all with a DNA test and a lawsuit. Hello Reddit I plus here. I've always been a simple man. I work hard, love harder, and believed in the concept of forever. I married Leanne when I was 26. She was 23, radiant and fiery. The kind of woman who could quiet a room with her smile and restart an argument with a single glare. I thought her passion meant loyalty. I thought wrong. We were married for 17 years. We had one child. Our daughter, Skylar. She's 16 now. And until about 6 months ago, I would have sworn I'd die for her. I thought I had a normal life. I worked as a mechanical engineer for a small company, clocked in at 7, home by 5, dinner with my family, weekends at the lake, the occasional couple's game night. Leanne worked part-time at a real estate office, or so I thought. The cracks begin to show. It started with the phone. Leanne had always been private, but now she panicked when I picked up her phone to check the weather. I remember the first time I noticed. March 3rd, a random Tuesday. She was in the shower. I tapped her phone to check the forecast for the weekend fishing trip I had planned with my brother. The second my finger hit the screen, she called out, "What are you doing?" Not annoyed. Panicked. I laughed it off, but something stuck in my gut. That uneasiness you can't name yet. Over the next few weeks, she got distant, colder. She'd come home later. Said she was working more. She wasn't affectionate anymore, and when I brought it up, she gaslit me. Said I was needy. Said I was imagining things. Even Skylar started snapping at me, saying I was too controlling, too paranoid. Then, on our anniversary, our 17th, I made reservations at our favorite steakhouse. She never showed. Her phone went to voicemail. Skylar just shrugged and said, maybe she got busy. The discovery, it all came crashing down 3 days later. I was doing laundry, and I accidentally dropped one of Leanne's jackets behind the washer. When I bent to grab it, I found something underneath, an envelope from a jewelry store. Inside was a receipt for a $4,200 necklace, dated a week ago. It wasn't for me. I checked every drawer, every cabinet, every hiding spot. Nothing. I confronted her that night. At first, she lied. Said it was for her boss's wife, a gift. I didn't believe her. I asked again, calmly. And then it happened. She laughed. "You're just a boring man stuck in a boring life," she said. "He made me feel alive again. Something you haven't done in years." "He?" I asked. "Does it matter?" She shot back. It mattered. It turned out to be someone I knew. A man named Eric. He was a contractor we hired last summer to renovate the downstairs bathroom. I remembered him. Tall. Charismatic. Smiled too long at her. I didn't like it then. I hate that I was right. She admitted it started as just talking, then became more. They'd been seeing each other for over a year. She said she planned to leave me eventually, but was waiting for Skylar to finish high school. Skylar defended her. Defended her. She said I drove mom to it. That I never showed love. That I failed her as a father and husband. That one broke me. I raised her. I bathed her, rocked her to sleep, worked overtime to send her to her dream summer camps. I stayed up during her fevers, showed up to every recital, every game. I made her pancakes every Sunday. I gave her everything I had. And she picked her. But one night, alone in my garage, drunk on betrayal and shame, I remembered something. An old conversation with my brother from years ago. He once joked, "Skylar doesn't really look like you, you know." Back then I laughed. Now, it haunted me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. The math didn't add up. Skylar was born 11 months after our wedding, but she was big when she was born. 8 pounds, 11 ounces. The OB even said she looked a few weeks ahead. I thought, no way. Not after 17 years. But I had to know. I ordered a DNA test. Secretly. Sent in a hair from my brush. Took hers from her brush in the bathroom. I remember the day the envelope came in the mail. April 29th. A Wednesday. I sat in my truck, parked outside the grocery store, just staring at it. I ripped it open. It said, probability of paternity, 0.00%. I couldn't breathe. I reread it. Again. And again. 0. Not 1%. Not even 0.1%. 0. Skylar wasn't mine. I confronted Leanne that night. I showed her the results. She paled, then tried to blame me for even testing it. Said I violated her trust. That I was the monster now. She admitted that yes, she had a one-night stand a few months before the wedding. She said she didn't think it mattered because I raised Skylar. Biology doesn't make a father, she said. But betrayal sure makes a man reconsider his life. I walked out, spent the night in a motel, called a lawyer the next morning. The end and the beginning, I sued her for paternity fraud. My lawyer helped me file not just for divorce, but for damages. You can't get back 17 years, but you can make them hurt. I also filed a motion to be removed from legal and financial responsibility for Skylar. She wasn't my daughter, and I wasn't going to be the bank account funding someone else's lie anymore. The lawsuit made waves. Our small town thrives on gossip, and this? It was fuel. Leanne's reputation tanked. Eric dumped her 2 weeks later when he found out I was suing. She's living in her sister's basement now, working part-time at a bakery. Skylar moved in with her, furious at me, calling me selfish and not a real man. I haven't seen or spoken to either of them since June. And you know what? I feel peace. Because for the first time in years, I'm not living a lie. I'm not loving people who don't love me back. I'm not paying for other people's sins. Epilogue. I'm 43 now, starting over. I've joined a hiking group. I'm rebuilding relationships with old friends. I read more, sleep better. I adopted a dog, Max. Big, goofy mutt who doesn't care about DNA tests. People call me bitter, but I'm not. I'm free. And if there's one thing I've learned through all this, it's that sometimes the truth doesn't set you free gently. Sometimes it rips you apart, burns down your house, and leaves you naked in the ashes. But it's still freedom, and damn, it feels good. 2 months after I left, I got an email from Skylar. Subject line, "You'll always be my dad." I stared at it for an hour before opening it. I wanted to believe it was her olive branch, that maybe, just maybe, she understood the depth of what had happened, but the message inside broke what was left of my heart. "I know you're angry, but you didn't have to blow up our lives. Mom made a mistake. You raised me, and that means something. Eric doesn't want anything to do with me. I have no one now because of you." It ended with, "You chose DNA over love. That's not what a real father does." I sat in silence for a long time after that. The thing is, she wasn't wrong. I did choose DNA, but not because I stopped loving her. I chose DNA because everyone around me, my wife, my daughter, even myself, was living inside a fantasy, and I couldn't keep lying just to protect their comfort while they shredded mine. I typed and deleted a reply for over an hour. What do you say to the child you thought was yours? A child who now hates you because you dared to want the truth? I never sent the reply, but here's what I wanted to say. Skylar, I loved you like you were my own, because I believed you were. I still love you, but I can't pretend anymore. I didn't leave because you weren't mine. I left because nobody told me the truth. Not your mother. Not you. I spent 17 years giving everything to people who saw me as convenient. I wasn't your father. I was your resource. And love without honesty is just manipulation. I saved it in drafts and moved on. In the months that followed, the legal case dragged out. Leanne fought hard. Her lawyer argued I should have known, that I waited too long, that I was just bitter. But my lawyer was relentless. We presented the DNA test, highlighted the receipt, the confession, the sudden cold behavior, the fact that I had raised a child under fraudulent paternity. My state allows lawsuits for intentional infliction of emotional distress in paternity fraud cases. We settled, quietly. She paid me $82,000 in damages, every dime of Skylar's college fund that I had personally contributed. Her lawyer negotiated to keep it out of court records. I didn't care. I got what I needed. Not the money, the closure. Then came the twist I never saw coming. 3 weeks ago, I got a call from Eric's ex-wife, Melanie. I barely remembered her. Met her once during the bathroom renovation. But she found me on social media after seeing a vague post I'd made about betrayal. She wanted to tell me something. Said it had been eating her up. Turns out, Eric and Leanne's affair wasn't just physical. They planned it from the beginning. Back when he first came to the house, Leanne had already started reaching out to him online. Flirty messages. DMS. She even chose him for the bathroom job. Told me it was the cheapest quote. But in reality, it was an excuse to see him every day while I was at work. Melanie said Eric boasted that Leanne would drain her loser husband and they'd start fresh with his kid and her money. Her money, not ours. Like I was just a wallet with a wedding ring. Melanie left him when she found those messages. She took the kids and moved to Arizona. I was silent on the phone. Melanie apologized. Said she just wanted me to know I wasn't crazy. That I had been set up. Played. That Leanne used my loyalty as a smokescreen to cheat and raise another man's child on my dime. All I said was thank you, and then I cried. Not because I was angry anymore, but because I finally knew it had never been my fault. I wasn't boring, or cold, or a failure. I was just honest in a house of liars. Rebuilding. It's been 10 months since I walked out. I've sold the house, bought a small cabin just outside the city, quiet, peaceful, surrounded by pine trees and the kind of silence that heals. I still haven't spoken to Skylar. Some days I want to reach out, but I've learned something. Not everyone you raise is yours, and not everyone you lose was meant to stay. Love can be real and still end. Betrayal can happen slowly, like rot under the floorboards, until one day your entire house collapses. But I'm rebuilding, not just with wood and nails, but with truth. My story isn't a tragedy, it's a resurrection.